Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to debate the motion, the strictest measures are needed to curb overtourism. So first of all, I will invite speaker number one, who is Pika-chan, to talk in favour of the motion. Pika-chan is supporting the motion that the very strictest measures are needed to curb overtourism. We'll listen to the speech in favour, the speech against, and then we'll listen to the refutation speech by the second speaker and the defence by the second speaker. And finally, we'll listen to the summing up. So there is a third speaker for each side of the question. And then the MC, that's me, will round up both sides of the argument and you will be asked to vote. So Pika-chan, please take it away. My name is Pika-chan and I support the proposition that the strictest measures are needed to curb overtourism. You might want to ask why. I used to be happy and excited when I saw foreigners on the street in my hometown. On July the 7th, 2023, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, something happened which changed my mind. An Italian teenager was visiting the Todaiji temple in Nara. That's the temple with the famous Daibutsu statue. Many of you have been there on your elementary school trip as a child, just like I did. Well, I love the peaceful feeling there. You remember that last year a foreign teenager from Europe wrote his name on the wood of the temple. Julian. Can you believe it? He used his knife or his key holder to actually cut the wood and write his name. I realize there is a big gap in culture. The lack of respect for the temple really bothered me a lot. It's not just the statistics, but the whole attitude of foreign tourists that we need to do something about. That's why I think the strictest measures are needed to curb overtourism. Fines, certainly. Probably the numbers allowed into a place at any one time should be limited. Tickets should be booked in advance as much as possible. These kinds of measures will help to control overtourism and make sure tourists respect Japanese customs. Thank you, Pika-chan. Now I would like to ask Usagi-chan to speak against the motion. The strictest measures are needed to curb overtourism. Good morning, everyone. I am Usagi-chan, and today I am speaking against the motion. I am against imposing measures that are too strict. As we all know, Japan needs the revenue from tourism. Now that the Japanese economy is challenged by various things, it's not the time to make tourists feel that they are unwelcome. Pika-chan shared with us her feelings about the incident in Todaiji Temple last year, and I completely agree with her. Any tourists who show disrespect to temples should be dealt with by the law in a suitable way. But that is a very different matter from saying tourists are all bad. That was an isolated incident. Surely you can see that we have a lot to lose if we limit the numbers or limit the way of access to online booking only. It is not fair. It will create negative feelings about Japan in other countries. We want to keep the image of hospitality, omotenashi, which made us famous. Thank you very much, Usagi-chan. And so now I'm going to ask our next speaker, Odenkun, to second the motion saying that the strictest measures are necessary in order to deal with overtourism. Are you ready, Odenkun? Yes. I am Odenkun, and I am seconding the motion saying that the strictest measures are necessary in order to deal with overtourism. My friend Usagi-chan told us that not all tourists are bad. I agree, of course, but it is not about the tourists themselves. The sheer number of people is overwhelming. Bus services become overcrowded. There is not enough space even to walk around the street in Kyoto when the cherry blossom is coming out. You've seen the pictures, haven't you? This is Athens. This is Venice. And people are crushed together. So it's not fun, even for the tourists themselves. We need a better system of organization and planning. Thus, online booking and advance reservation is really the only way to go for tourism in Japan. In this way, we can promote destinations which are not getting enough visitors. The app can suggest alternative places to go. This is going to be good both for the tourists and for the local people. Thank you. Thank you, Odenkun. And I would now like to ask the second speaker against the motion, who is Chibi-chan, who is going to reply to Odenkun's speech. Oh. Hello, my name is Chibi-chan, and I am speaking against the proposition that strict measures are needed against overtourism. Well, Mr. Oden, you make a valid point, but at the same time, it is very depressing. What happened to the freedom and human rights of people to travel and interact with each other? I've heard of tourists being strictly controlled in North Korea. Do you want to make Japan like North Korea? I don't think so. Why are we even studying at this university? Because we all love English and want to interact with foreigners as much as possible, right? We have experienced hospitality when we studied abroad, right? Haven't you, Odenkun and Pikachu? Do you want to take that freedom away from the kids who dream about visiting Japan? Thank you very much, Chibi-chan. So now we're going to open the debate to the floor, and people who have been listening in the audience, please ask your questions to our speakers. So at this point in a professional real debate, there is a point where you have quite a long period where the people who were listening start to join in the debate. And they may ask questions like, could you tell us in more detail about blah, blah, blah? They may ask questions like, can you say exactly what you mean by blah, blah, blah? They may ask, what's your opinion about something which is related to this question? And they are often trying to find the weak point in the other people's argument. So questions from the floor can be a very powerful position in a debate. You can support somebody strongly by the kind of question that you ask them. You can also show that somebody's argument was not very strong if you ask the right kind of question to make everybody understand that their question was not logical. You can also comment from the floor, and that part of the debate is managed by the chair. And so in the class, hopefully, we'll have a point where we can stop and take questions from the other members. And at that point, I think the debate spokespeople, the main speakers, can also ask each other questions. And after that, so maybe that was 10 minutes, maybe it was even 30 minutes in a serious debate, we go back to the speaker who is in favour of the proposition. And the speaker in favour of the proposition will do the summing up. So they're going to summarise the important parts, including the important points mentioned by speaker 2 and speaker 1. The person who does the summing up can be speaker 1. It can also be a third person. In our class, I think maybe it will be nice to have a third person to be a member of the team to do the summing up. Here we go. I am Sazai Chan, and I am summing up in favour of the proposition. As Pika Chan mentioned at the start, it is the desecration of Japanese heritage, which is very serious, and serious measures are needed. The risk is that over time, if Japan does not take measures to protect popular tourist sites, the value of the places will go down. Beautiful places are only beautiful as long as we can take care of them. When you're thinking about which side to vote for, think about your precious memories, if you've ever visited a shrine at New Year or a countryside place. Do you want to see that place full of people packed so tightly, taking selfies and sharing meaningless messages on Instagram? The only way to prevent that is to ask tourists to think a little more and plan a little more carefully. We're not saying don't come, just plan when to come. That way, Japan can continue to be a wonderful destination. Thank you. And the MC, I will now invite the speaker 3 for side against the proposition to sum up the points against the proposition. I am speaker 3, the cat with no name, and I am summing up case against the fact that the case against the proposition that strict measures are needed to curb overtourism. Members of Team 1, you told us that Japan will be less attractive to tourists if we do not protect the sightseeing places. But I think that depends on what you consider to be a good atmosphere. Do you want to visit a place that is deserted? If we insist on prior booking, that is what could happen. It would be a waste. We need to be very careful to encourage more than discourage tourists. That's why I ask you to vote against the motion. By voting against, you're expressing your trust in the global community and your respect for their freedom to travel where they like. Thank you very much. And now we go back to the MC. You've heard the arguments in favour and against, everyone. Now it is time to vote. Those in favour of the motion, please raise your hands. My assistant will count you. Those against, assistant, please count and write the numbers on the board. Undecided? Let's count again. So, how many people changed their mind during the debate? Thank you. And the winning side is those in favour of the motion, and the winning side is those against the motion. Thank you very much.